They have Brandon Eccles and Quantez Stiggers available. Shotgun on 3rd and 2. Levis out of the pocket, trying to run, and he is spun down hard at the 36. Will McDonald, the 4th. So now the Jets are staring at a 3rd and 22, moving in the wrong direction. Rodgers, short pass, crunched is Corley. So the rookie from Western Kentucky makes his first NFL grab. He's met by Ernest Jones. The Jets will punt. Levis hangs in the pocket, in stride for Calvin Ridley. Angles out of bounds. Titans are moving the football, had just 244 yards of offense at Chicago last week. Fake the pitch. Levis throws on time. Levis hits his man, the veteran Tyler Boyd. Long count from Levis. Levis out of the pocket. He rifles to the outside. Caught by Wiley. First down, Tennessee. His second year, Cushenberry is the veteran, year 5. Ridley to the corner, touchdown. The speed of Calvin Ridley. He got to the spot, beating Sauce. Titans take the lead.
I thought the ball handling of Will Levis on this drive was exquisite because he makes that fake and then carries through his other fake to the other side to make sure the defense goes with him. And they do, and that allows Ridley to get to the corner, flash his speed, drop a shoulder, and get inside the pylon. Pounds of beef in terms of Sweat 93 and Simmons 98.
Hall shifts to the other side, and he's blown up in the backfield. Ernest Jones, the first man to greet him, and the Titans hold up. It's a loss of 2. $50 million from Denver. Levis, pump and throw. It's caught underneath Okonkwo. Once again, play clock winding down. Levis from the gun. He fires, complete. Hits his man, Tyler Boyd. First down, Tennessee.
Another converted safety to middle linebacker, what Robert Saleh did with Fred Warner in San Francisco.
Fake it. Nice sell job. Pollard has some blockers and spins his way for a first down. Spears in there. 3rd and goal. Levis looking. Levis tripped. He tried to shovel it. That ball is free, and the Jets have it. 2nd and 10. Rodgers looking. Rodgers sensing. Sacked from behind. Nothing working downfield, and Rodgers has to absorb it. Harold Landry, one of the top sack masters in the NFL, gets home. Titans get it back at the 25. Fake the handoff. Levis. Deep shot on the way. Contested ball. Traylon Burks. Darnold throwing a long touchdown, and the Jets can't get anything going right now on offense. Quick hitter. And that is to Allen Lazard for a first down. We're down to 5:39 to go in the first half. Rodgers uncorks it. And Allen, physical player. Out near midfield, shotgun. Rodgers hits his man, breaking away Garrett Wilson. The spin by Wilson, and then he lunges himself to the 36-yard line. Out of the gun. Rodgers pulls the trigger, hits Conklin. First down. Here in the second quarter, Hall and Allen are both in there on a first down for New York. Fake it, and now toss it for Allen. Rumbling through. Allen breaks free for the touchdown. He is a bowling ball.
And watch the ball handling by Rodgers. Full fake to the right, dumps it back to the left, and the rookie out of Wisconsin gets ahead of steam and hurdles into the end zone. Good blocking out in front as well. Wide receiver block on the corner by Wilson. See if they try and do a little pin out there and give it to the guy to the flat.
Levis dials it up, and it's handled by Pollard. Spears in the backfield. Levis, he's got a cannon of an arm. Hopkins with the grab.
Got their big 3 receivers on the field, and Ridley, Boyd, and Hopkins.
Levis, he gets walloped by Solomon Thomas. pressure up the gut. He doesn't tell him what to do, but he'll say, hey, have you thought about this?
Yeah, we've all heard that at home before. If they've asked that, that means you probably should do it.
41-yard kick is good. His teams are 5-0 after taking a Week 1 loss. Pitch to Hall. Hall gets to the outside. Breece Hall with a stutter step move in the first big run of the day.
And they were off pace a little bit there.
And normally, Rodgers in complete command in those situations. Rodgers looking, end zone! Touchdown! Breece Hall holds it in. And the Jets take the lead. 26 yards, a rope from Rodgers.
Quarterback sees the defender with his helmet back to him. If he doesn't see face mask, if he just sees the back of his head, you throw the football. Why? Because your receiver can see the football coming and can make an adjustment. The defender cannot, because the defender's looking at the receiver.
Turnaround, they'll host New England on Thursday night. It's 3 games in 11 days. The toss on 3rd and 19. Okonkwo is buried at the 29, and the Jets defense does its job here in the 3rd quarter.
GM Rand Carthon and owner Amy Adams Strunk.
3rd down and 10. Rodgers is sacked. Back at the 25, Landry again.
And he gets an extra grade on the sheet.
3rd and 10, deep one, through the hands of Ridley. Had a step on the 2 defenders. Incomplete. His 3rd of the day, a long of 63. And it's blocked. Out of bounds. Back-to-back weeks, the Titans have had a punt blocked. Irvin Charles is a menace on special teams. Hall remains in there. On a handoff, Hall right up the gut. First down, Jets.
He's matched up with.
Rodgers launches, end zone, incomplete. 33-yarder for Zerline, straight through. Julius Chestnut is in. Fake it, Levis, pressure, he's got room. Levis, big gain, into Jets territory, and Levis goes down. Shotgun, Levis, 2nd and 9. Levis looking for the big one. And a sliding attempt. Somehow Ridley was there for the touchdown. Ridley tracking it, and this is a scintillating grab.
And he does it against the first-team All-Pro corner, Sauce Gardner. Chuck Clark coming over from the safety spot. Looks like he has a shot at the football. But how about the concentration? The absolute concentration of Ridley. Remember the one that went through his hands? Looked like he should have caught that one. He atoned for it on that play.
Down to 2 seconds. 1 second. Rodgers gets the snap off. Barely. Rodgers timing route. Floater. It's caught over the shoulder. Willie Mays style. Garrett Wilson. First down. Hall in the backfield protecting. Rodgers sideline. Jump ball opportunity. It's hauled in by Mike Williams. The rookie Allen in the backfield has a receiving touchdown today for New York. Give it to him. Allen cuts it to the outside. He's gone. Touchdown, Jets. Braylon Allen, first rushing touchdown of his NFL career.
Keep a run from going big. There wasn't a run fit there for Tennessee outside of the gap. So when you went outside of the tackle in position, no one there to begin, no one there to fill, and he goes outside a hooker and jogs into the end zone.
Levis dials it up. Perfect throw to the sideline, and Calvin Ridley. The drive remains alive with a clean catch inside the Jets' 40. First down at the 39. Levis on the give. Pollard. The burst by Pollard. Breaking tackles.
Bill Callahan's run game confounds everyone, and they're sticking with it.
No hurry here for Tennessee. Levis, and he's in big trouble. He gets out of it. Will Levis makes a huge play for the Titans. 3rd and goal. Levis looking. Levis is sacked. Back at the 14. It's Will McDonald. 4th down. Jets trying to hold on. Tennessee trying to rally. Levis, a dart. It's bobbled and dropped by Boyd. Get into victory formation here. Rodgers takes a knee. The New York Jets get their first one of the season on the road in Nashville. 24-17. A fun one today in Music City.